Yeah, I did change, and I'm really glad I changed.
This one's wife. They are fighting repeatedly. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. Information has been sent to me that reveals more about what is going on behind closed doors. As always, I leave it to you to determine the veracity of the information. I simply decode it, decipher it, interpret it for you through the prism of this one's wife's narcissism and her dynamics and interactions with those around her. With regard to the marriage, it's reported that there are repeated fights taking place between the Duchess of Delusion and the Prince of Pink Pancakes. Purportedly, during those fights, she throws herself onto the floor, asking Harry why is he purposefully ruining her life. It's also alleged that Harry bursts into tears, saying things such as, "I'm not good enough for you. Don't leave me." Thereafter, she lays on the good stuff, drawing him back in, and then there is another outburst, another fight. Harry actually wants to go home, but is placed in a position whereby nobody in the royal family wants anything to do with him until he's free of this one's wife. They don't want him involved because she is not trusted, and he, by extension, is not trusted. Apparently, they want a divorce to be finalised, and then they will deal with him, but he'll only be brought back in as a private family member. That information has been passed to me, and you can make your own mind up about whether you believe that it is accurate or not, but it certainly bears examination as against the narcissistic dynamic. First of all, with Harry, although he does have emotional empathy, he has strong narcissistic traits, and in common with many victims of narcissists, where he is subjected to abuse, which is an external stressor, his emotional empathy starts to become eroded. So if you could imagine that on a day-to-day basis, his narcissistic traits are kept in check by his empathic traits, but if an emotional external stressor comes along, if it's applied for long enough, or with a certain intensity, it will reduce that emotional empathy, resulting in his narcissistic traits coming to the fore. There are lots of different external stressors that people can face which erodes emotional empathy and causes them to act in a manner which is that whereby they aren't governed by their emotional empathy, i.e. you would describe them as acting out of character in a sense, whereby they would lose their temper, that they would be mean, that they would be nasty, etc. As the empathic traits are drawn back, then in those circumstances, the narcissistic traits come to the fore. And with Harry, he has particularly strong narcissistic traits in relation to anger, resentment, and argumentativeness. Abuse is a common external stressor. And then when he's being abused by this one's wife as part of his sustained devaluation, his emotional empathy erodes and he fights back. He will be frustrated. He doesn't understand what is actually going on. This is a combination of his own emotional thinking, which clouds his judgment, and the fact that he's not particularly clever. He can't understand how everything started out absolutely swimmingly. Along came this woman who gave him lots of spicy poontang, who appeared supportive of him, who wanted him to pave his own path, who recognised the frustrations that he had as being a spare, an individual that cared for him, made him laugh, had lots of interest in all the things that he was interested in, and made him believe that he'd found the one. Those of you who have been involved with narcissists will be well aware of this is what the narcissist does. And we do this in order to get you under control by love bombing you. By layering on the good stuff, we make you believe that you found the one, your soulmate, etc. In essence, what we tend to do is mirror back at you what you want to be found, and therefore you find it in us. We are chameleons, and we shape ourselves to present to you what you seek in life, a similarity to yourself. Unfortunately for you, it's an illusion, and you don't find that out until it's far too late. Once you've become emotionally invested in the relationship, where you also may have had children, got married, lived together, combined finances, etc., built a foundation together, only to find out that actually it's a completely different setup. Thus, Harry has found himself in this situation whereby he can't understand how something that seems so wonderful has turned into something so terrible. One whereby he's ordered around, shouted at, put down, left on his own, given silent treatments. Where is the woman that he fell in love with? Well, she never existed in the first place. Nevertheless, he doesn't take this lying down. Because of the strong narcissistic traits that he has, he fights back, and therefore it's eminently conceivable that these two have ding-dong battles with one another. She, of course, needs to control him, and he will regularly do things which threaten her sense of control, not deliberately, but inadvertently. It might be as simple as making himself a cup of tea and not one for her. It might be that he's not around when she expects him to be. Remember, she is the star at the centre of the universe, and he should be there anticipating all of her needs. He should be ahead of the game, and when he isn't, and with the fact that he is painted black, it means that she lashes out at him. She'll accuse him of not loving her, even though he actually does. She will say things that she believes that he is intentionally trying to ruin her life because she believes that he is a problem. Her narcissism now tells her he's got it in for you. He's causing problems for you. He doesn't love you. He doesn't care about you. It does this in order to motivate her to continue to assert control over Harry, to draw fuel from him. Thus, she will lash out at him, shouting at him, accusing him of things that he has not done, arguing with him, and, of course, plenty of pity plays, where she will throw herself to the ground, perhaps launching one tear left eye go. This, of course, will leave him puzzled as to why he's being treated like this. And then, all of a sudden, something changes in the fuel matrix. He becomes painted white. She gives him a respite period. He's love-bombed. All is calm. He thinks, there she is. That's the woman that I fell in love with, not realizing that she is but a fleeting ghost. It is a turbulent life with the narcissist, and given the fact that he has a fiery temper by virtue of his strong narcissistic traits of argumentativeness and anger and resentment, combined with her ongoing need for controlling him, it's no surprise at all that fights regularly occur between the two of them. She can't understand why he won't do what she wants. He can't understand why she's turned nasty. And neither is able to understand the other. He doesn't realize that he's dealing with a narcissist and what that means. And she, of course, is governed by her narcissism, which paints him either black or white. There's no in between. And therefore, she is set in this mode of, he's absolutely wonderful, I'm so proud of him, he's an amazing husband. And then, you're an awful human being, you're here to ruin my life, why are you so mean? And Harry can't reconcile, how is it that she says that I'm a brilliant husband on Monday, and then on Tuesday is saying that I've ruined her life? And he'll probably try and point that out to her, which of course is another threat to her control, which means that she then has to either deny, first line of the twin lines of the narcissistic defense, that she ever said that he was a wonderful husband. She might admit it and say, I was only telling you what you wanted to hear. He's then hurt by that, isn't sure whether to believe it or not. No, you're just saying that to hurt me now. You do think I'm a brilliant husband. Well, you think that if you want, but you're not. And thus, the past is brought up and thrown in one another's faces. You can well imagine the turbulence that goes on between these two. And it is not far-fetched at all to believe that there are running battles taking place between the two of them behind those closed doors. It's a common occurrence between a narcissist and the intimate partner primary source victim. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.